Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Showgirl Tip of the Day podcast, Season 3, where we talk about show business, old friends, and new adventures. I'm Michelle Bruckner, and I am thrilled you are here with me today. Today's episode is going to be all about finding opportunities in times of stress and hardship. Picture this, March 2020, I was going about my business, choreographing 2 shows, Guys and Dolls in Damariscotta, Maine, The Sound of Music in North Salem, New York, and working in New York City at a conservatory for the performing arts. Well, March 12th, I'm in dress rehearsal for The Sound of Music. Everything's going well. I get an email. Do not come into work on Friday in New York. The school decided to close for 2 weeks. My point is all the students that I love and work with got sent home. They were devastated. All of us. You remember that time. And if you're listening to this later, it was a time of fear and uncertainty. Choices were made basically to shut down the whole city of Manhattan, something that had never been done before. Sheltering in place, quarantining because of COVID-19. In stressful times in my life, I know that dance has literally grounded me, kept me sane. The routine of a ballet bar, a jazz warm-up, a tap warm-up, the routine of class, the discipline of going to class took over for me, and I said to myself, what can I do to create a little bit of self-control and a little bit of certainty amidst the chaos? So I got on Instagram Live and I started doing class Monday to Friday, 11:30. I tracked who came. People came from around the world. My students, their relatives, their friends, people I didn't even know. And one of the people who took class was Martim Galamba. And he was a student of mine in New York, but he lives in Lisbon, Portugal. He took my class. We talked. The students would message me. Sometimes we'd get online, FaceTime or Zoom and just talk. Everybody was scared. Everybody didn't know what was happening. And when you have spent a long time saving up to come to a very expensive program in New York, and then you get sent home, it's devastating. So I did the best thing that I could do. I said jokingly one day to Martim, maybe I'll come to Lisbon. Well, fast forward 2 years, 2022. I was invited and I was so honored to be able to go to Lisbon, Portugal and do a theater dance workshop with Martim. He has a brand new company. It's called Music Theater of Lisbon, MTL. And I have a new job, international liaison. I am so excited because out of that time of uncertainty, taking a tiny step forward led to the next step. And this past June, I spent a beautiful week in Lisbon. Of course, the pandemic isn't over. Masks were required in all public transportation. It's funny because when I went over on the plane, people were not wearing masks. I kept a mask on. The whole pandemic, I wore the surgical masks. This time I upgraded to the 95 because the new variants are more contagious or something. So I was like, let me get these super good masks. And so I did. Arriving in Lisbon, I was greeted at the airport by Martim. And one traveling tip, I always just use carry-on. I really wanted to shop, especially for Showgirl's Closet, which is my vintage boutique at the Vault, a once-monthly vintage market in Winthrop, Maine. I wanted to do some serious shopping. So what I did was IKEA now has, those famous blue IKEA bags. They have a backpack version. They have a zip IKEA bag with handles that you could place on your back. And I bought it at IKEA. I think it was $4.99. So I bought one of those. It folds flat. I put that in my carry-on. And I said to myself, if you have a lot of success shopping, here you go, you can do this. So I had that, got into Portugal, and that first day was amazing. Immediately, we started going around and seeing things. We took a lovely walk. Do not bring high heels to Europe. You won't wear them. They're useless. You know me, I'm a girl that loves a heel. I love high heels. They were why I went into show business, but flats, comfortable flats. So a couple of years ago, I bought these Dance Go Mary Janes, and they are cushiony. They're great. I brought those, and I wore my white Birkenstocks. That's it. And it served me fine. I was only there from Monday through Saturday. I left Newark Airport on Sunday night. I arrived in Lisbon on Monday morning. What a magical trip. On Tuesday, we went to the Thieves Market, which is an open-air vintage market. I didn't pick up as much as I thought because sadly, it's really become something that is touristy, but I did find some good finds. I found 2 dresses that are currently at the vault right now, and I found a teal rattan purse, which I'm keeping. I was going to sell it, but it matches a few of my things that I got from Boho Birdie, Christine Slater, who's my neighbor at the vintage market. Lisbon, the reason I was there was to do a workshop. What a wonderful time meeting all amazing performers. My good friend, Joachim Benoit, who plays Zazu in The Lion King in Hamburg, Germany. He's the only person that is in the original cast that is still in the show. He and his friend Michael came over to Lisbon to visit. They got their own hotel and we met up for dinner. We met up at the Palace, which I highly recommend. And we also had this wonderful time at this bar. I'll get Martim to tell us what the name of this bar is. So there's a bar and you have to knock on the door to get in, and it houses a vintage collection of toys like you have never seen. I'll post a link to a video of it because the amount of stuff and the way it's organized in these glass cases, it's just incredible. So we had a wonderful time there. And basically, we walked all day. I had to soak my feet in a little cold water before I would go teach. And I had to really make sure with my energy that I was able to teach from 7 to 9:30. That was important for me, is that I had peak energy during those hours. In the last few years, I've become more of a day person instead of a night person. Usually around 7, I'm winding down. However, I had a job to do and I was so happy to be there. So I had to make sure that I was ready to rock and roll. Now, when I came back to the hotel, I would crash. All in all, it was one of the most exciting weeks of my life. It was a beautiful week. Martim Galamba and his family are excellent hosts. I got to meet his aunt and his grandparents. We went there for lunch one day, and then his father took us out the final evening. It was a wonderful dinner. I cannot wait to go back. And I want to thank MTL and Martim for just a beautiful week. Never forget that you have something to offer the world, and never forget that you have something to share. I am excited to announce my online monthly membership, Club Showgirl it's called. The membership includes online dance courses. Those are included in your membership so that you can practice your skills anytime. Let's say you're on the road and you can't get to a tap class. Just set up your video and you can practice tap and get your skills down. Ballet bars, jazz warm-ups, body conditioning. It's all there for you. We have weekly Zoom calls, and there's a VIP section where you can have some one-on-one time with me. Career coaching. There's also wardrobe and styling, because I think image and how you want to present yourself to the world is really important. As you know, I love clothes. As you know, I shop vintage. I can even create a wardrobe for you or help you decide what kind of look you want to go for and how to find those gems. So I will include that in the show notes. My monthly membership will be live. We're going to start it in September. We're going to start this monthly membership mid-September. So jump on board, head to the show notes for more information about Club Showgirl. Welcome, Martim Galamba of MTL, to the Showgirl Tip of the Day podcast. How are you?
Thank you, Michelle. I'm great. I'm here in Lisbon. The weather is amazing, and I couldn't be happier to join you tonight.
I'm so glad. I miss you already. It's been 2 weeks. Thank you. I just want to come back and work with you all once again. Will you explain to the listeners how you had the idea for MTL and what your goals are?
In fact, Michelle, you are the one during COVID that gave me this idea of inviting artists here to Portugal to give workshops. So basically, we created this project here, MTL, which aims to create a bridge between Portugal and Broadway, and bring all these American Broadway performers to Portugal and to Lisbon and give here some workshops, share their knowledge, their work, their experience with Portuguese artists, Portuguese performers. And in the near future, we also want to welcome in other actors from other countries in Europe so that they can come here to Lisbon, to Portugal, and learn with the American performers, because I truly believe this is the perfect opportunity to bring the American musical theater to Portugal, and not only to Portugal, but to Europe, because that's what I really believe in terms of musical theater, the American approach of musical theater. I think you guys really understand, you created musical theater, right? So I think you really understand the craft, and I'm so excited, and we are so excited to receive you all, to share all the best things that you know and that you learn, and share that with our Portuguese performers. And
Thank
you were here, and you know how amazing it was, right? And how people were dazzled with your knowledge and with your performance skills, and they were amazed because they never had that opportunity, right? And most of us here in Portugal, unfortunately, and even in Europe, most people don't have the opportunity, the chance to go to the US, to New York, and learn with the best. That's our goal, to bring the best people here as they can't go there.
It was so fun to be over there. Do you feel like it was a successful first time? Do you feel like year one?
Michelle. Yeah, everyone is talking about it. Everyone wants to do the next and to do it more often and to do a workshop with more days and more time. They really want to, and they are talking about it. All the artistic community here in Portugal is talking about this. So it's very special. And you felt how you touched people, these young performers, and not only young performers, but also professional actors that work here. Like we had an actress that she's working a lot in television here in Portugal. She's very popular. So we really impacted some artists here, and we aim to impact more and more. Just with a few days, you could see the growth, right, Michelle? It was fantastic. Just in a few days, just in a couple of days, because people here are really eager to learn and to grow. It's such an important and unique opportunity for them. And I remember, Michelle, they were right, like they were loving it. They were and picking so fast the combos and all the directions, the indications that you gave them. For me, it was really moving.
Well, I'm so honored that I was there, and I think I left a piece
of this great project.
Yeah, and I left a piece of my heart there. And just tell us, people, some of the places that we went to, because I remember the palace, but I don't remember every single. Just give us a few of the highlights.
Yeah.
The Art Deco Museum.
Yeah, we toured around Lisbon. We went to some of the main spots here, but also some spots that are not so popular, that tourists don't know and just the local people know. So we went to some secret spots. But we walked through Alfama, which is one of the oldest neighborhoods here in Lisbon. It survived the great earthquake of the 18th century. So it's a very, very old medieval neighborhood from Lisbon, from the Roman times, ancient times, We went there. We also went to a Judah Palace, which is a beautiful, huge royal palace. We went to the Art Deco Museum because Michelle loves Art Deco, right? And
yes.
So, and then we tried a lot of great Portuguese food, I think. I love food, but I think you enjoyed it a lot, right?
Delicious. Everything was so good.
The fresh fish. Yeah, and then
listen,
we went to
all you have to do is tell me when to come back, and I will be back for sure.
Thank you so much, Michelle. And then we also went to downtown. We went to Chiado and Príncipe Real, which are very fancy neighborhoods from the late 18th century and 19th century. We went to some really cool shops. And Michelle, you remember this store? We went to some different stores from the same brand, which
La Vida Portuguesa.
La Vida Portuguesa, exactly, a Vida Portuguesa, the Portuguese life. And it's such a cool store, and Michelle loved it because basically it was this woman, she created a project to launch traditional, very old Portuguese brands, and she basically relaunched them, and now it's a huge success. These shops, and they are so traditional and so authentical. They are very neat. And so what else? I don't know. We did so many things in just
so many
those couple of
things.
days, right? Michelle, you also loved seafood, right?
So good. Have really inspired me because you are a visionary, and to be with you
so
at the
much.
beginning of this project, every year it's just going to build and grow, and to be with you from the beginning, I'm just so proud. And in a few years' time, when we have musicals running there or touring, then we will say, do you remember that first year when I got lost, I went in the wrong subway and we waited for each other and I made Martim worried about me. But that was the only mishap.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was the only time that happened, and which was also my fault. And
there were
also
two entrances.
Yeah, there were two entrances, and at that metro station, and I was waiting for Michelle on one of the entrances, and Michelle was on the other one. So we were at the same train station, but on different exits for like more than 1 hour. And then I started to really I was like, oh my God, did Michelle, what happened? Is Michelle in the room somewhere in the balcony? And I was in panic. But then eventually
I saw you.
Again. Yeah. So I was really relieved. But yes, thank you about talking about the shows that you just mentioned, because that's another thing of MTL. Besides the workshops, we really want to create an industry here and to start producing and creating shows and creating all this artistic community, right? Like people are coming here to learn, and they will also work and give their inputs and create a musical theater with also a Portuguese soul. And maybe we can do this transaction after this movement, this change between the US and Portugal with musical theater.
Thank you. I'm going to have you back on when you can do a full episode with me, because I know how busy you are right now. So I just want to say thank you. I'm going to put the website address in my show notes. So I want everyone to click on the Music Theater of Lisbon website, and you can learn more about Martim and the goals that we have. And I'm part of the team, and I'm so honored to be.
Yes, you are. Thank you so much.
Of course,
I love it. We are so honored with your presence. And I just can't forget when you were on that stage of the small theater, and people were dazzled. They were amazed to watch you on the stage dancing.
It was very fun. It was so fun.
And then Michelle, also, did you talk about like you thought different combos and different styles, and it was so helpful for them because
I brought over to the listeners, I brought over a week's worth of different styles. We always warmed up because that's really important for your body. And then we did some work across the floor, which if you're not a dancer, it means you're traveling across the floor and you're doing steps or a combination of steps. And then when Martim says combos, he means a combination. So it's either a number from a show or it's a piece of choreography. I gave them just a bunch of things that I have done as a dancer, things that I have choreographed, and I tried to make each night a different style, and then we would always review. So by the end of the week, they had so much material to practice. And I think they really loved it, and I know I loved watching them. We had different age groups, we had different ability levels, and they were all wonderful, really wonderful. All right, I'm gonna say goodnight for now because I know it's late there, and I have a show tonight. My show opens.
Oh my God.
Let's talk very soon. Let's talk soon, okay?
Yes, let's talk soon. I miss you so much.
Much love to you. Thank you. I miss you too.
And I would like to invite you all, search for MTL, and I hope you all are fine and well. It was such a pleasure to be here with you all.
Thank you, Martim.
Thank you so much, Michelle. I miss you.
I miss you too.
Next week on the Showgirl Tip of the Day podcast, we have actor and makeup artist Rosie Hunter. Her story is an interesting one. She is the wife and mom in a military family. I've known her since my Main State Music Theater days. You don't want to miss next week. Thanks for listening, everyone. I will talk to you soon. Be well and tell your friends. The Showgirl Tip of the Day podcast has original music composed by Joshua Holloway. Find him on YouTube, Joshua Holloway Music. This podcast is written by Michelle Bruckner and edited by Michelle Bruckner and Joshua Holloway. Find me on Instagram, Showgirl Tip of Day. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again next week with a new episode.